The following day, yeah, and you know, you walk in and you just feel like there's a vibe, like, why ain't anyone saying hi to me? Like, people just like this. What's going on, man? Couple people in the apartment block that just see me like, I'm thinking, yo, is he reporting me to police? What's going on? What's happening?
I'm just disappointed, so.
And then I talked to someone in the apartment block and they're like, yo, you know the caretaker yesterday? I'm like, yeah. They said, oh, he was so mad and all that. I think that was the thing that's tipped him over the edge. He's killed himself.
No.
Hey yo, this is Casey the Rookie. R-O-O-K-E-E.
Yo. R-O-O-K-E-E. Hey. That's you. Hey. One. If it's on, I'ma tell him. If it's wrong, I'ma tell him. Yeah, they talking, they ain't really saying much. I'ma tell him. Introduce the podcast. This is called Rookee Talks, episode 1. The very first one. So let me do the shout outs first of all. Shout outs to me, because if it wasn't for me, then there'd been no Rookee. So yes, I'm Rookee, Casey the Rookie. I got my co-host, elderly gentleman next to me. That's Oda. We've got Gully on the camera. And we've got, what do you want me to call you? Big C? Little C?
You start early, innit? You start early. You see? You see how to stay?
We got Big C on the producing. So yeah, first episode. What how's everyone doing?
Everyone's great, man.
Nice.
There, man.
Everyone's
Let's
cool.
go.
Yeah?
Let's go.
Everyone's all good. Gully, stop sweating.
Cool down, let's go.
Yeah. It's cool, man. So this is the first one.
Yes.
It took us a long time to get here, man. It's beautiful. So yeah, cheers for that. So the first one, obviously, let me explain a little bit what we're going to talk about on this podcast. It's called Rookee Talks. So we're going to talk about loads of different things that happened to me in my life or that happened to my friends. We'll get people in sometimes, we'll talk to them. Might be online, sometimes we'll get them in the studio. We're just going to go with the flow, basically. And what month is it? It's September.
It is.
It's September, so it's the very first one. Is it the 20th today?
Yep.
I feel like it's the 20th of September, 2020. 2020. Like
Wow,
that.
there's a lot of 20s.
Jeez. And this first one today that we're talking about, the first subject, and I feel like this needs to be part 1 because I feel like this can breathe, is anger.
Wow.
The subject for today is anger. Yeah. Why did I even choose anger? Whoever's phone that, please, you gotta lock it off. The reason I chose anger, I can't remember at which point this week I said anger, but
you and I spoke about it, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk a little bit about anger for me first of all, and we're gonna jump into just anger first of all. So let me talk about, for me, yeah, in my life, as far back as I can remember, anger has been an issue. I know you're laughing. I know why you're laughing.
You look like a very angry person.
No, I'm not. So anyone that knows me now,
A little.
I don't think I come across very angry at all.
You changed, bro.
I've changed.
For the better.
But if I'm honest, most relationships I've been in, the woman has said that, I'm not violent, but they've said that, yo, when there's flashes of anger in peak times. I don't know whether that's
Loving or?
well, we'll get to that. But there's anger's there. Anger can be there. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not walking around angry in a relationship, or whatever, but there's times where I've been angry. So in relationships, if anyone that knows me from work, I don't say I'm not really angry at work, but I would say I'll have an angry face at work certain times.
Pre-lunch time.
But I would say the older you get, obviously I'm in my 40s now, so the older you get, the less anger comes. I feel like it's just easier to control. But this week, actually, like with me now, anger probably pops up maybe once every two times or 3 times every 3 months. Not as much. Used to be regular.
Well, there's levels, isn't there?
There's levels.
There's
Yeah. And I feel like I'm talking about anger, but I feel like anger is something that's prevalent in our community. You know what I'm saying? If I look at men and women my age, if I look at people in their 30s and their 20s, it's a reoccurring theme, man. anger is a massive thing. Anger can obviously, there's a point in anger where you can just lose your head, right? And it's not you anymore. The anger has kind of taken over all of you. It's taken over you, and you've lost control. That's what I know. That's what I've experienced. You've lost control. So I thought I was quite good at controlling my anger as the years progressed. But then this week,
Brother got tested.
I had an incident, and I was like, and something happened, and it caught me off guard, and my anger that I've not seen for a while, he came. He was there. He was there, and it just showed me like, oh shit, I've got a lot of work to do, man, because he's not dead and buried. He's still around. Do you know what I mean? And obviously there's triggers.
So let's just touch on that a little bit, though. Touch on that a little bit. When you say that the anger showed up again, it showed up, but it didn't show up in the same way it maybe showed up in your 20s or even 30s.
Yes.
Because you and I spoke about this already, so I've got a little bit of insight into where this conversation's going to go. But what's really interesting is the amount of chances you gave the other person.
Yeah. So let me tell you. Yeah. Shall I say the story? Yeah.
One second. Let me just add to that there. Sorry. So what I mean by that is just for a bit of sort of history. You know, we were in our 40s now, and you know we were in single figures. I've known Kay since I was 9, and
wait, how did we meet? Yeah,
we met in anger. That's how we met, and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
So you know, the basic story is.
And I'm gonna let it tell you from your perspective that story, and then I'm gonna tell it from my perspective.
Okay. Okay. So, the basic story went like this. We were of an age where cussing was the thing. So when you kind of fell out, it was like, you know, you cuss me, I cuss you, and whoever gets the last laugh wins. Yeah. And, you know, I didn't know Kay. I'd just gone to the school. I didn't know he was angry.
It's primary school.
Yeah,
so
this is primary.
Like 7, 8.
He's primal.
Very primal.
And this is primary. So, you know, we were in a position, I found myself quite quickly in a position whereby Kay switched. So what I mean by this is we're having this banter, boy banter, back and forth, and then I made a mistake. So my mistake that I'll never forget was...
What did you do? You say something about his mum?
Don't know.
Trigger.
That's what happens when you're cute, innit?
Trigger.
Bro. You know, it was like blah, 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 blah. And then I thought, you know what, let me just kill him with this one. Yeah, your mum is. And then I've gone like that. Your mum is. And then, you know, when you feel like you've been frozen in time, my hand was still like this. I looked at him and thought, he don't look right. And all I remember was him having some sort of crazy kind of rage. Tears came to his eyes. And then I was running faster than Usain Bolt. Yeah. And I ran faster than Usain Bolt for the whole of the dinner time. This happened at the beginning of dinner time, right? It happened at the beginning of dinner time, yeah. And I ran until they rang the bell to come in.
I said, you're not catching me.
Yeah, you know, I ran like there was a pit bull, a Rottweiler, an Alsatian, and a man with a gun chasing me because he didn't look right, and he was crying with anger and chasing me, and I just ran. And then the bell rang for school. They opened school, and I think I ran into school. The teacher said, "What's going on?" And they put us right. I apologised because I was out of order, and that was the intro to our friendship.
That was it. Yeah.
To cut a long story short, through all the years that have gone by, and whether we've like been in touch daily, monthly, annually, when we catch up, we just carry on where we left off because we're proper friends. And he's that guy that if I had an issue or a problem and I reached out to him, it isn't I'm busy or it isn't I can't, it's where are you? and he knows no matter what, where he is, whether it be help, whether it be support, whether it be financial, whether it be something to talk about the kids, whatever it is, we can fix it. Because we're together. If we're together and something happens, we can fix it. You know, and I call him my friend for life.
So let me tell you that story from my perspective, yeah?
That sounds like anger turning to a whole heap of love right there.
Let me tell you,
Absolutely,
let me tell you from my perspective that story. So I'm in the playground at school.
With knives.
Someone came up to me. I didn't realise. I was like primary school, right? Someone came up to me and said this, yo, there's a new kid and he thinks he's sick at football. Yeah?
Oh, okay.
I was like, all right, let me go investigate. Because as far as I could say, you know, there weren't a lot of black kids in our school.
No.
So, but back then, if you was a baller, you was black. It was just the stereotype. That was going on. So I said, let me go investigate this kid. So I get there, and you was a bit taller than me back then. You was tall, yeah. Nah, that's cool. But yeah, so then I just see you taking all these people. He was like, you know what I'm saying? He was like a young John Fashioning. Remember John Fashioning?
Yeah. I'd rather be John Barnes, man.
Anyway, I seen him from a distance. It's like, this guy, he thinks he's something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Had the ball, he was taking on about 10 man. I remember he was in and out. I was like, who's this guy thinking? And I wasn't even a footballer, bro. So I couldn't, football-wise, I knew I couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
Sprinting. I've gone up to you and I've said something like, oi, you can't do that. You got to pass the... Something like this. Yeah. And anyway, the cussing started. Now, you was from St. Anne's, right?
Way back, yeah.
St. Anne's in Nottingham now. As far as I'm concerned, in terms of cussing, there's a bit more advanced than where I was coming from.
Yeah.
So I had not heard this your mum thing yet. You know what I'm saying?
It hadn't landed in
It hadn't landed where we was. So it was a fresh cuss. Not only has he disrespected me by being messy, he's then come with your mum, and all the kids are like, ooh, standard. So obviously my trigger back then was my mum. Anyway, and then the fact that he's come, he's basically tried to take my spot, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So just touch on it. So you was an alpha male from the get-go.
I was,
it's true, isn't it?
Allegedly, yeah. So anyway, then I just remember your mum thing. I remember chasing you, and I remember at some point we stopped, and then obviously we ended up being friends after that, which is interesting then because we had another friend at school whose name is David. He's not here. Shout out to David. Yeah, but again, I've met him in anger because at the time at school there was this girl that I fancied. Shall we protect her identity?
For now.
She didn't turn out nice anyway. Yeah, you know who you are. And you liked her too. We all liked her.
She must have been fine at school.
Let's imagine her because she ain't even. Anyway, let's move on. So anyway, I like this girl, and there was a guy called Jack Bates who liked the girl too.
Oh, I remember
Jack Bates said to me, yo, that's my girl. We're standing in the dinner queue. I said, it's my girl, bro. One thing led to another. I've punched him. My first real punch that I can remember in my life. And it's broke his nose. I'll never forget, his nose went shh. Right? Can you remember that?
I need to add to this.
And that's how I met David. Again, through anger. It's crazy.
But I remember being there.
Ooh.
And Jack...
Did he say something?
Jack, if you're still alive, big shout out to Jack because I haven't seen that brother since 11. Well, no, we were 11 at the time. I haven't seen him since like I was 16, and that's nearly 30 years ago. Raw. So Jack also made the mistake.
Yeah.
Because he also said the famous words.
The trigger.
Yeah. There's a Hulk thing going on here. Yeah. Jack said, blah, blah, blah. And Kurt said something about it. And Jack said, yeah, your mum said that last night.
So it just brought like a flood of memories. But anyway, all I remember is the mist come. And then the next thing I was standing in the office and my man's nose is twisted up.
And Jack was red.
Yeah. So the anger was, what's the word again? Prevalent in my childhood. I can remember being angry. So the first thing is, I'm trying to figure out like, why am I so angry?
I think he was also very protective of your mum, very respectful to your mum.
Yeah.
And, you know, when people say things like that, derogatory, you just bring your mum into conversation when they don't know her.
Yeah.
You know, that also kind of incites people to behave in a certain way.
I thumped off Northman's face just for them 2 words. You didn't even have to say the whole sentence.
Yeah.
Your mum. What? Bam.
Yeah.
But
I'm guessing it was more like, yeah.
I don't want to hear you talk about my mum. So, like, even now I'll get upset if you say something about my mum. So, like...
But I just remember always being this angry kid. And it wasn't an anger, like it was an anger where when you see them tears coming, that's it. You can't stop me no more. It's red. Do you know what I mean? And I remember that throughout my childhood. Then I remember it through my teenage years. Then obviously I've moved out and I've joined the army. A perfect place for anger. You know what I'm saying? Because now they can use that anger against other people or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Not only that, because I remember you being in cadets. You were the only guy at school that I knew that knew what he wanted to do when he left school from our early teens.
Yeah.
You know, you would say, once I leave school, I'm going army. You know, I'm going to travel, this, that, the other, learn some languages, do some stuff, go and see some stuff.
So here's the thing. So I get to the army, and then obviously there's a lot of disciplinary, whatever. That part was good. But I was still angry. 100%. But the anger's, you know, when I was a teenager, let me go back actually, because thinking about why I was angry as a child, I think a lot of it was linked to my dad not being there. I was just wanted to know why. And because I didn't get the why, I was just mad. You know what I'm saying? Now, as a kid, you can't really articulate that. So it's just, I'm just going to be mad. Do you know what I mean? So as far back as I can remember being angry, but it was my dad's fault. But because he wasn't there to give me an explanation, it was like, well, I'm just going to take it out on everyone else then. Do you know what I mean? And then I think as you grow up, me personally, I just found different things to be angry at. Because it's easy to put the blame, you know, if you're not happy in life, it's easy to put the blame outside of yourself. Do you know what I mean? And even now, I think, as adults, when you know, if you have an argument with someone, and then you go back and tell someone else about the argument, you very rarely put the blame on yourself, you know. You very rarely say, oh, well, you know, I was driving a bit bad, and you very rarely do that. When you tell the story, you're more times blaming the other person. Do you know what I mean? We very rarely put the blame on ourselves. So anyway, let me fast forward to this thing, what happened last week.
Okay.
So I'm driving back from football with my two sons in the car. Corey, who's 9, Joshua, who's 2. We're driving into the Tesco garage car park. And as I'm trying to pull in, there's a guy in a big Range Rover. Shout out to that guy, by the way. Coming out.
Do you know what? Let's have a little cheers to the man.
Let's have a cheers to him because he inspired this first show. Cheers to him. That's what you call transmutation.
Big all Range Rover crew. And if you were the one that was angry and created this story, we thank you because you've inspired us. Yeah. So shout out to you.
So yeah, I'm driving into the garage. He's driving out where you shouldn't be driving out. First of all,
so he's coming out the entrance.
He's coming out the entrance. Yeah.
So using the entrance as an exit.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is not one of them garages where you can switch up and do your own thing. And no, this is definitely you're supposed to be coming out the other way.
And as you're pulling in,
the
road that you're coming off, is it a busy road?
Very busy. It's a very busy road, like one of the busiest roads coming in and out of the city. So I'm trying to pull into the garage. This big Range is coming out. So clearly I can't get in. So I stop and then I say, "Oi, mate, you can't come out this way."
Just like that.
Just like that. And I'm going to try and... Yeah. Come back into this. So I'm not on no...
Right,
you know, I'm a calm guy. And I've just
good.
come from football. I was in a nice mood. "Oi, mate, you can't come out that way." I think his first reaction was, so? Fair enough. You know? Fair enough. Now we're at a standstill because his car's blocking me, I'm blocking him. I'm like, bro, you cannot come out this way. There's loads of traffic behind me because I'm in the main road
There's
still.
a main road behind you.
Yeah. I think his reaction then was, I don't give a shit. Again, fair enough.
It's not very nice, is it?
It's not very nice though, because now I'm getting agitated because I'm in the road and I need my petrol. "Look, mate, you cannot go this way." And then I moved my car a bit close to him. I said, "Look," and I hope this guy don't come for me, by the way, because this is all evidence. But anyway, yeah. So I say, "Yo, honestly," I move my car close to him and say, "You can't come out this way, bro. You're mashing up the traffic." Then this is the first trigger. He said this to me: "What are you going to do about it?" Now, in hindsight, I could have just said, you know what, mate, I'm not going to do anything. And I could have reversed my car, which would have been a bit of a hindrance.
But you couldn't, because you're on a main road.
Yeah.
You're now going to be reversing into a main road backwards, which isn't the right thing to do.
No.
He was doing the wrong thing because he's coming out of an entrance.
Yeah.
Well, using the entrance as an exit.
Yeah.
So that's just not a good idea.
Nah. Anyway, listen. So anyway, basically he's getting more and more cheeky as I'm talking to him. I'm trying to reason with the guy. He's not having it. I can feel my temperature changing to the point where this is where I know I feel like I lost some control. And it's a bad mistake, really, this territory. I got out the car. That's a big mistake. In all the road traffic confrontations I've ever had, getting out the car is a big mistake.
It's an escalation.
There's not much can happen good when you get out the car.
And you've committed yourself.
I'm committed. Yeah. I'm committed. So I get out the car and I go to his window of his car. Then he says this. You think I'm scared of you, mate? And he dropped the F-bomb. You think I'm scared of you? Right? No, I didn't want him to be scared of me, if I'm honest. I didn't go over there for that. Honestly, I got out to talk to him because I felt like this guy needed me to come a bit closer.
Well, you weren't getting anywhere, were you? You've asked him nicely.
Yeah.
You told him about the traffic.
Yeah.
You've conducted yourself in the right way, and he's being very ignorant. And can I just clarify, because there's different sizes of Range Rover.
It's a big one.
He had the big one, full size Range Rover. Is
Yeah,
that a little bit bigger than your car?
Yeah,
Okay,
big.
so he thought he could possibly intimidate you because he's got the bigger vehicle.
It felt, it felt like he was trying to intimidate me based on, I don't know, where we are right now in the world is a mad time. Because I don't know if people realise it, but they've been fed a narrative at the moment. And I think that this narrative is increasing, in general, people's anger. Do you know what I mean?
Kind of divisive.
Yeah, I feel like, you are what you eat, right? So I think that the diet that we're consuming at the moment as humans with phones or whatever is we're consuming a lot of violence. Yeah?
Okay.
Whether that's violence that we're watching from stuff going on in America, we're watching it. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's protests that we're watching going on in London, we're watching it. You know what I'm saying? And these are all violence. This is violence. Do you know what I mean? Violence is predominant anyway in our society. And I feel like this, right now, the flames are being stoked. Whether that's racial, whether that's anti-government. But I just feel in general, we've been in a 6-month lockdown. People are angry anyway.
That's going to have a big impact. I mean, generally speaking, a lot of people, those that have worked from home or been on furlough, etc., have been in what is like solitary confinement. And, it's tested in prisons that if you put people in solitary confinement for a long time, it has psychological effects on people. So, I don't know if Angry Range Rover Man is normally angry or intimidating or ignorant or whatever.
He could have been having a really bad day.
He
could have been having a really bad day. Something could have triggered him,
Yeah.
So if you obviously we've got Casey's perspective, maybe the guy just had a bad day. He was coming out wrong.
He must have been having a bad day.
He didn't know where he was going, or he did know, and he's just like, one of them was, I'm just going. And then somebody comes into him in the car, and he's like, I'm not getting out of the way, mate. Come on, just And obviously, he's responding to the situation which he presented with. Whether he's in the right or in the wrong, it's probably irrelevant to him at that point. He's just wanting to get to where he's going to, and you're in front of him. I think you've got out of the car, you've gone up to his window. He said, "What? I'm not scared of you, mate."
I'm not scared of you.
So what's happened?
Obviously, I've got to be careful for legal purposes how far I discuss, but I've kind of leaned my head in the window a little bit, and he's just been more and more cheeky. So I've had to take what I like to call evasive action.
Yeah. So can I just clarify?
Yeah.
Did you find yourself in an entanglement with this chap?
No.
When you say entanglement,
The reason why I say this, it's a really interesting word. For those that have watched the whole Will Jada thing and it went round and round and round, it's just a really interesting word, entanglement. And I just thought it was so open to whatever perception you want to put it in.
Yeah.
It's just so open. You know, the bottom line is this. Going back to a little conversation we had before we came on camera. In life, when you make a mistake, if it's you, and we're all grown, and this guy was our age-ish. Right? Older. Okay.
50s.
Okay, so the bottom line is, when you make a mistake and you've been on this planet long enough, you should be able to own it. Yeah? If you're driving out of an entrance and using it as an exit onto a main road, and you're stopping oncoming traffic, which is then having a knock-on effect with the traffic that's coming down that road, who are now beeping their horns, which you didn't mention, at you, and people are like, look mate, it's Saturday, yeah, it's a weekend, it's busy, I just want to get on with my thing. The easiest thing that guy could have done at that moment in time was simply own it, be the bigger man, and just reverse his vehicle.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have to reverse all the way into the petrol station. You just need to reverse enough for you to come in.
Yeah.
But that level of arrogance and ignorance and standoffish behaviour led to it becoming or escalating into something they didn't need to be.
Well, this is a good point, but this is something I've learned with age, that basically anger's it's going to be everywhere. There's going to be people that can make you angry every day, and you kind of have to keep your guard up. My guard was down. But there's a lot of people that we're going to come into contact with each day that they're not bothered. They just want to pass on their negative vibes to you.
Let me just check something. So obviously this incident occurred, but you had your two sons in the car.
Yeah.
So like I remember when I was young, and my father got into an altercation. I was in the van, in the front seat, and there was some guy cut him up on the street, and so my dad just got out of the car and straight just wanted to go and fight the guy, and so they started brawling on the street. I'm a kid in the car. I'm scared.
Yeah,
I see my dad out there. He's throwing licks. The other guy's throwing licks, and there's no control. It's a lack of control. Yeah. And I'm a kid. I don't know what to do. I just got to watch, and my heart's going like this. I'm fretting.
Well, you don't know if he's coming back.
I don't know what's happening. And then obviously he gets back into the car. And then when he gets back into the van, he's getting ready to get the baseball bat out, ready to go and lick up the man. And I'm like, Daddy, don't, Daddy, don't. You know? And like, it's funny, about a week ago, I was talking to him about it. I said, yo, Daddy, I was traumatized by that. Until this day, I remember that incident. Yeah. But the thing is, like, as I've grown up through life, obviously I tried to learn to control that anger in as many situations as possible. But like Casey says, you can't always control it. But the thing is, if we prepare ourselves for those situations before they come, we know, and we can feel ourselves get into that state, we can suppress it, we can stop it, you know, but we have to be prepared, and we have to, if we don't know how to, we have to learn how to, because that's what gets everybody into situations, that gets war started, that gets people fighting, that gets things going wrong all the time, because people can't control their anger. Nothing good happens when you're angry. No. You lose emotion, you lose control.
Yeah, and, you know? And in that situation where there is a lack of control, sometimes you don't know when to stop.
Yeah.
And that's when it all goes wrong really quick.
Well, it's interesting you say that, bro. 'Cause I've got a few anger examples where it hasn't served me correctly in my life. I'm going to give you another example. This is about 15 years ago. I'm living in Berlin. Yeah? So how it works in Berlin is it's like apartment blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah? And I lived on like the second or third floor. So I was living with my girlfriend at the time. The apartment block has a caretaker. Yeah? Now this caretaker in our apartment block, he liked to have a drink, do you know what I mean? He wasn't a very happy guy, but you'd always see him pottering around all day, every day. And then he was a bit cheeky. I never really spoke to him because I didn't speak German them times there, but I remember he was a bit cheeky. And I remember having an argument with my ex in the apartment. One thing's led to another. She's grabbed my phone and threw it out the window. Yeah? Now, obviously, I'm pissed. Yeah? And the phone has landed on the grass outside the apartment block. Yeah? Now, there has always been a sign next to this grass saying, stay off the grass. For some reason, this plot of grass, you can't go on. Yeah? And I'm referring back to the younger me, please. So disclaimer, this is not me today. So anyway, I walked down the stairs because I want to get my phone. Yeah? And this caretaker's like, yo, what are you doing on the grass? My phone's on the grass.
Yeah.
He's super angry. What are you doing on the grass? What are you doing on the grass? I'm super angry because I'm in an argument. I'm just coming out. My phone has just been launched out the window 2 floors.
You got a screen protector on there.
Them time there, I didn't know.
You said Android.
My phone is on the grass. He runs up to me, and I didn't understand the language. He's saying something to the words of the effect of "get off the effing grass," and I need to get my phone. Anyway, we've ended up in a slight altercation. Yeah, we ended up in a slight altercation.
How old are you at this time?
20s. One thing led to another. I had to grab my phone and exit the apartment block because someone said he's calling the police.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a deep story, by the way. So I've dipped. I'm gone for about 6 hours. I come back the following day. Yeah? This ain't even funny, so I don't know why you got that funny look on your face.
No, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
I come back the following day. Yeah? And, you walk in and you just feel like there's a vibe. Like, why ain't anyone saying hi to me? Like, people just like this. What's going on, man? Couple people in the apartment block that just see me like, I'm thinking, is he reporting me to police? What's going on? What's happening?
I'm just disappointed, sort of.
And then I talked to someone in the apartment block and they're like, yo, you know the caretaker yesterday? And I'm like, yeah. They said, he was so mad and all that. I think that was the thing that's tipped him over the edge. He's killed himself.
No.
Swear down, bro.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He killed himself. So, I'm not taking responsibility for that. But it was the anger, his anger, my anger, it was all part of it. It was all part of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And for a while, I was like, shit, man, it's not worth getting angry because you don't know the day that person's having and what it could lead to. Do you know what I mean? So that was a big lesson for me. But like I said, this anger thing is not something that's left me. It's always been there my whole life. Now I think I'm a lot more chilled out now than I was. But there's still little things that will make me angry. I'll give you another example. My kid, football. I'm a football father. My boys play football. So my son, he's 9 years old. He's just joined a new football team. Yeah? Now, as far as I'm concerned, my son is an above average football player. He is. He's good. He's joined this team. That's a little bit out in I'd say the outskirts of Nottingham. So, no black kids in this team. My kid's the only black kid on this team. But it's cool. We've done this before. You know what I mean? I've done it with his big brother. It's cool. And I didn't really want it to be an issue, if I'm honest. I didn't point out, son, by the way, you're the only black kid on this team. I didn't point that out to him. But it's obvious. Yeah.
That's always going to be temporary.
Yeah.
Because he's got so much talent.
Yes.
That he's going to open up the floodgates.
Yeah. So anyway, football match last week. The coach only plays my son for like 7-8 minutes from the game. You know what I'm saying? It was a big team, was against. So I'm pissed. But I'm like, yo, just breathe. Because I've realised my kids can be a trigger for this anger. When it's anything involved my kids, it's very, you know what I mean? I can get angry quickly. So I'm pissed. Like, why have you not used my son? Now, it seems like a minor thing, right? It's football. It's not the Champions League. Yeah. It's not even a massive final. It's just a game of football. But I felt disrespected by this coach. To the point where, if I'm honest, I wanted to give him one.
Really?
I wanted to give him one. Yeah. Because I felt like it's my child. It's disrespectful. If I'm honest, I wanted to take his jaw off. Right. Because I felt like, you've hurt my child.
Do you feel like you was doing that because you know the level of disappointment that your son's going to have once the game's finished?
Do you know what? It's mad because my son didn't really give a shit. He's on the touchline playing football with his brethren. So it's not even about him. It's about me.
Really?
It's about the point of you're not including my son. That's a disrespect. I'm paying money to be here. My kid's good. Why are you overlooking him? Now, that was last week. Yesterday, the same shit happened again. My kid's there. Now, we're playing against the team. The other team, it's got a lot of black kids. My son knows all these kids. So I'm thinking, my son must get a run out today. Mm-hmm. Yo, don't play him the first half. Second half, he brings him on. for 7 minutes and brings him off again. Disrespect. But again,
She didn't really give him a chance to
Nah. And my son, he's a starter already. He should play from the start. Anyway, like I said, it's not Champions League, but it's pissed me off again. To the point, my son's mum was there yesterday. It got to the point I said to her, you know what? I'm going to walk off for a bit. Because I could feel this.
Yeah.
I could feel this anger coming again. Game finishes. I have a little moan to the rest of the parents. I don't say nothing to the coach because I think if I speak to him now, I'm not going to say anything good.
Because of where you are.
Because of where I am.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything good. I don't like him from the other week anyway. I get home, talk to a couple people on the phone. I'm by myself. I need to text this guy. I like that. So I said, yo, I'm trying to bait the guy to call me, really, if I'm honest. I texted him and said, yo, my son left football crying yesterday. That's what I've started the conversation with. My man's come back with, oh, I don't want any of our players to ever be crying after football. Could you apologise for me? First of all, I think, why wouldn't you apologise yourself? He said, could you apologise for me? And I'll have a word with him next week or whatever. Some words to that effect. Anyway, with me, yeah, when I give it, and this is the thing, when you give it something energy, it grows, right? This is what you realise.
He didn't leave crying.
Huh?
He didn't leave crying.
He did. He was in tears. He was. It wasn't.
Was you over egging it? Or
No, I wasn't over egging it.
Okay.
I seen some tears coming. I had to talk him. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So. But what I've realised with this anger thing is, I should have just left it. But I'm sat by myself yesterday and I'm giving it energy. And when you give something energy, it grows. You know what I'm saying?
I think throughout the whole thing, sorry to cut you, but I think that's the major word. Everything's energy.
Yes, I like that.
Everything's energy.
I like that. So when you give something energy, it grows. Now I could have quite easily got home, got the football out, and said, "Come son, let's go and play football in the park," and give that the energy.
Yeah.
Now because I would have given that the energy, I would have forgot about the coach, and I'd have said, "You know what? Let's just go back next week." So, but I gave the energy to the disrespect of the coach. So anyway, he answered me. He said, I said to him, no, that's not good enough. We got into a back and forth. And I know I was doing it, but I'm thinking I'm giving this energy here.
It's on text.
It's on text. I'm thinking I'm giving this guy energy here. He's giving me back something and I'm thinking, no, I don't like that. And I was very close to calling the guy. But I know nothing good would have come from that conversation. But I'd have put more energy into it. You know what I'm saying? And
I think it's always better to have a face-to-face.
so I stepped away from it. And I thought to myself, honestly, well, you know what? We're going to be talking about anger tomorrow anyway. So let me just address it then. Because, like I said at the start of this, anger has been something that has been in my life from as far back as I can remember. And I thought I had it under control. But clearly, I've still got some work to do. You know what I'm saying? Still got some work to do. And there's been other incidents. You know what I mean? It's not, I haven't lost control, but I have to be aware, man, because the world's not getting easier. You know what I mean? And as far as I'm concerned, you're gonna get challenges each day. So you have to be able to deal with these things. I've got kids.
Let me add something. So obviously we've been speaking a lot about anger today. I mean, one of the things with anger is that obviously we know that anybody can get angry. But a lot of situations are very different, and so you might be angry in one situation and you might not be angry in another situation because you're better prepared for the situation that's presented in front of you. So I think one of the key things that, you know, any human being learns as they're going through these processes, there might be one situation that if you're presented with it, you'll get angry. If you're presented with it, you'll stay calm. If I'm presented with it, I might stay calm and Dolly might get angry.
Yeah.
But it all depends on how we've been developed through our lives, the things that we've learned, the emotional challenges that we've gone through. Yeah, like triggers. But we always have to remember, because life is a journey and life is a challenge and life is a probation period, we're learning every single day. So one day we might have the strength to overcome the anger. The next day, we might not have the strength because the level of anger is slightly more, or the situation presents us with a more complex, angry situation. Yeah. So if that's the case, then it's another opportunity for us to learn. We have to start taking those negatives and turning them into positives. The quicker we take that negative and turn it into a positive, the better the situation is going to be for everybody involved. And that's one of the things. Anger is a bad thing, but we can turn it into a better thing, a good thing as we go on our journey, you know? Because it's like, you know, the kids, they're playing computer games. You level up. You can level up.
But again, that's a good example because you got boys as well, innit, Gully? Yeah. You've got sons as well, right? So when have you ever heard your son go mad on his console?
I've gone in and turned it all off.
Right then, because of the anger.
Yeah, I've turned it off and said, "This is a fun item. It's a fun machine, and this is clearly it's not fun right now. So, based on where you're at and how you feel, best just to turn it off for a bit." Have a minute, or go outside, get some fresh air, kick a football, you know, or just do something else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Put in the board and do something else.
Yeah.
And just going back to what you were saying about how these things make you feel, I think, as you said, over time we all mellow, because we've all had situations when we were younger where we flew off the handle and we didn't need to. You know, a Casey in his 40s reacting to the same scenario will be completely different to a Casey in his 20s. So although, yes, anger is still prevalent, that's the word, that's the key word for today. It's still prevalent, but it's not a dominant, it's not the first reaction, it's not the go-to reaction. It's a considered. When you get to our age, it's like, look, you've got so many other things to live for, responsibilities, and you question your behaviour, you question how you're going to react to it, and you just sometimes, because of your experiences of the past, you just go, you know what, forget that, walk away. Sometimes it's better to walk away, be the bigger man and all that. It's hard to do it, but it's sometimes better to do it. Well, when you're younger and you're full of testosterone and hot and quick, sometimes you can react really quickly and not consider the outcome.
What's the angriest you've ever been in your life, bro?
The angriest I've ever been? Dead easy. A long time ago.
The barbershop thing.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to say that.
Well, it is. You know.
Tell the story real quick in a coded way.
In a real quick way. A long time ago, a guy hurt a family member, and thought that was acceptable, and it was completely unacceptable. And
to the barbershop and try to deal with him.
I thought about it real quick and knew I had to do something. And I went and dealt with it. And I dealt with it in a way that I was quite lucky, really, because that was the first time, the only time in my whole life that I can genuinely say I was out of control. You know,
I hadn't seen you out of control that often.
No.
Probably that's the only time.
That's the only time. Yeah. You know, I went into this like whole rage that didn't know I had it. I didn't know I was that guy, right? And I found myself really hurting this other person because they'd hurt my family member. And once I started to do it, I found it really hard to stop. Thankfully, you know, I say thank you for the man upstairs. I took my friends with me because I anticipated, because I had to go into somebody's workplace, that I may have other problems, and they were there in case we had any other problems. I went to deal with the person, the individual. Didn't shy away going with a full crew to give the person. No, I'm going to go and deal with the person that caused the problem to my family member, and they were there in case anybody else wanted to give me a problem. And it was awful. It was awful. You know, after the event, once all the adrenaline, all that anger and all that nastiness disappeared, you know, I questioned myself and I thought, gosh, do you know what? That kind of behaviour is the same behaviour that can quite quickly escalate and you end up in prison as a young person. I didn't use any weapons or anything like that. My dad taught me, I'm old school, I've got 2 hands and 2 feet, and I dealt with the individual and taught them a lesson because what they did was completely out of order. They know that.
I remember he was holding them in the road, like, for the bus.
I remember
that.
I didn't want to talk about it a bit, but so anyway, the bottom line is, I said from that time, and that was in my 20s, I will never ever lose my temper like that ever again.
And has it worked?
Yes.
See, I commend that. That's good.
It has worked. You know, there's been times when I've been tested.
But
I've never hurt anybody like I hurt that individual. But I've never felt hurt the way in which I felt hurt created from that individual.
Yeah. And there's levels as well to this anger thing where, again, what you say can trigger someone else's. I could be angry. It's contagious, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And I could call you up and, you know, we have it when we do music stuff all the time, right? Like, I'm going to call it passion. That passion, it's a thin line between passion and anger, right? Like, you could have something go wrong and it's like, and it's like, if you don't know me, you could mistake my passion for anger.
I get that.
If you don't know me.
Yeah, likewise.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could call you like, blah, 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 blah. Now, because of how you are, you won't accept that as anger. You know it's passion. But a different person, take that as anger, give it me back. Now I got back the double, and now we're all angry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All I can say, I haven't got all the answers, but all I can say is what works for me at the moment is kind of getting ahead of the curve. I like that COVID talk. It's like you can kind of set the tone of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because if I've got up in the morning, I mean, I'm going to talk about this on more episodes, but I say where I am now, I'm kind of on a spiritual journey, and I'm learning about myself. You know what I'm saying? And the more attention I'm focusing on myself, the less I'm trying to give the outside world. Because really, if I'm trying to change the world, I want to change myself first. Now I've realised to set myself up right for the day, if I get up in the morning, try and do a meditation, then try and work out, have a good breakfast, I'm so high naturally
On life.
that you have to get me down from there, you're gonna have to come and stab me in the eye with your finger or something. You know what I'm saying? My armor is on. You know what I'm saying? My armor is on. And that'll take me through half the day.
But you've set yourself up positively
Yes.
so that negative things will bounce off you.
Exactly. Now, funnily enough, that was the only day this week, yesterday, when I wanted to nyam the coach, that I didn't do anything.
I remember you told me.
Interestingly,
Well,
now.
let's make sure we get that on the next one. Yeah, the preparation.
Yeah,
That's
so
a key thing.
the takeaways from this, I think, is take some time for yourself each day at the start of the day, because you are definitely going to be faced with challenges. It's about how you respond to those challenges.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's end it there.
Good talk, man. Good talk.
All right.